And we are almost counting less than 2 weeks to the end of the month of January. The year is moving really fast. Hoping you're having a blessed time from wherever you're watching us all over across the world. It's that time for MISHAPI Voice TV English News Update, where I have a lot in store for you. But before I give you more, let's get the headlines. A total of 600 elements of Zaire Armed Group handed over weapons in a stabilization program, PDDRCS. The Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund approved 2 programs totaling nearly to $3 billion. The United States of America expresses its dismay at the scale of Rwanda's military activities alongside M23 rebels, and 37 survivors of ADF terrorists were officially handed over to civil society. And on Matter Sports is that Amal Diallo scored a hat-trick in 12 minutes to bag a win for Manchester United. Welcome. A total of 600 elements of the Zaire Armed Group handed over 85 AK-47 weapons, 1 PKM weapon, bombs, and others to the Disarmament, Demobilization, Community Reintegration, and Stabilization Program, PDDRCS. The related ceremony took place in Mambanga, Mambisa Chiefdom in Jogu Territory in Ituri Province. According to the spokesperson of this so-called self-defense militia, Jean Marie, this handover is as a result of the talks with the military administration of Ituri. He invites the authorities to implement projects to allow these demobilized to have occupations. In addition, several other military effects were also handed over, a gesture welcomed by the interim coordinator in Ituri, Flori Kitoko. Major General Aban Tambuka, commander of the 32nd Military Region, said he was satisfied to see the strategy put in place by the military administration, led by Lieutenant General Lubaya Johnny, came to bear fruits in the context of pacification of Ituri province. And moving on is that the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, approved 2 programs totaling nearly to $3 billion. These agreements include an Extend Credit Facility ECF of $1,729 million and a Resilience and Sustainability Facility RSF of $1,038 million, covering a duration of 38 months. The ECF program aims to preserve macroeconomic stability, strengthen governance and transparency, and promote inclusive growth. The FRD program supports the Democratic Republic of Congo in its strategic role as a solution country in the fight against climate change and the transition to a low-carbon global economy. Minister of Finance Dudu Fwamba confirmed that an initial disbursement of $240 million will be allocated to the balance of payments. Future funds from these programs will be allocated to infrastructure and other priority sectors to meet the legitimate aspiration of the citizens' population. And on to some other story is that the United States of America expresses its dismay at the scale of Rwanda's military activities in Nord Kivu province alongside M23 rebels. This increased activism by the Rwandan soldiers is confirmed by the latest report of the United Nations Group of Experts on the Security Situation in the eastern of the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a statement published on its website, the U.S. State Department denounces the deployment by the Rwandan Army of sophisticated military equipment in the region, including GPS-guided mortars. The statement also highlights the GPS jamming activities carried out by the Rwandan Army and the M23, which jeopardizes humanitarian air operations in the region. The newly released report also confirms Rwandan hierarchy over M23, as well as the massive deployment of troops and advanced military equipment in Nord Kivu. 37 survivors of ADF terrorists were officially handed over to civil society. These men, women, and children who were reunited with their families were kidnapped in their fields in the territories of Beni, Lubero in the province of Nord Kivu for most of the part, and others in the mining squares in the province of Ituri. They were released by the enemy following the pressure suffered during the joint FARDC-UPDF operations. And that great news about families reuniting takes us to international updates, where the European Union has expressed its support for the announced ceasefire in the Gaza conflict, voicing that it will end civilian suffering and lead to the release of hostages. The European Union did not play part in the negotiations of the ceasefire agreement, which is yet to be signed by Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen asked the two parties to implement the agreement. Also, the President of the European Parliament, Robert Metsola, points out that it could be a turning point for a sustainable peace. For his part, the President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, calls for the ceasefire to allow immediate access to necessary humanitarian aids. These latest flare-ups in the Israel-Palestinian conflict has left more than 46,000 Palestinians and over 1,200 Israelis dead. And still on international update is that Bulgaria's parliament has formally approved a coalition government led by the pro-European Groupe party nearly 3 months after election results in a deeply divided parliament. Lawmakers voted 125 to 114 to elect Rosen Zelaskov as the prime minister. His center-right party had pledged to restore financial stability and keep Bulgaria in a pro-EU and pro-NATO track. Zelaskov and his party had made, quotes, the necessary compromises, addressing the ideological differences with its two junior parties, pro-Russian socialist parties BSP and the populist group There Is Such People. And it's always my pleasure having you on board. You are watching MISHAPI Voice TV English News Update. Of course, we are Africa's vision in the world. That news takes us for a short break. Don't touch the dial. I'm coming back with more on sports. And kicking off for us is that Norwich and Slavia Prague have sealed an agreement to Matej Jurasek's move. A done deal of €7 million transfer fee was incurred, and the contract signed is until June 2030. And it's a great news for Manchester United fans as Amad Diallo scored a hat-trick in 12 minutes and backed a win for Manchester United in a game that was played at Old Trafford against Southampton. And it's indeed a great news for Manchester United fans. I know they are all over wearing their jerseys today. That's all from our English news desk today. A big thanks for keeping me company and choosing MISHAPI Voice TV as your #1 updater. We are Africa's vision in the world. You can get more of our programs and news update by following us at MISHAPI Voice TV. Have a blessed and great time. I'm Crispin Otieno.